Imagine standing on the brink of a scientific revolution, one where the fundamental nature of your consciousness is redefined, not just as a product of the brain, but as an intricate quantum phenomenon intertwined with the very fabric of reality. Picture a future where consciousness isn't just a byproduct of neurons firing in the brain, but a manifestation of quantum fields interacting in ways that challenge everything we think we know about existence. Today, we're diving into a mind-bending concept. What if your sense of self, your thoughts, feelings, and awareness could be transferred to another body entirely? Would you still be you? Or would the essence of your consciousness dissolve into something unfamiliar and unrecognizable? This thought experiment forces us to confront the profound question: what truly makes you, you? The nature of consciousness has long been one of humanity's most perplexing enigmas. While neuroscience has made incredible strides in mapping brain functions, it continuously stumbles over the fundamental mystery. Why does subjective experience exist at all? What transforms the biological processes of neurons into the rich, vivid tapestry of thoughts and perceptions we experience every moment of our lives? As science edges closer to understanding the brain, a new frontier emerges, a place where the boundaries between physics and consciousness blur into one another. The intersection of quantum mechanics and consciousness is rapidly becoming one of the most exhilarating and controversial areas of modern scientific exploration. Could it be that our awareness, our very sense of self, is rooted not just in the brain but in the elusive, unpredictable world of quantum fields? In this video, we're embarking on a journey from the smallest structures within your neurons to the expansive quantum realm that might hold the answers to consciousness itself. We'll explore mind-boggling concepts like superposition, where particles exist in multiple states simultaneously, and entanglement, where two particles remain connected regardless of distance. We'll even question whether your conscious mind could be creating reality as you perceive it, transforming the intangible into the real with every thought. This exploration will challenge your understanding of what it means to be alive, to be aware, and to exist as a conscious entity. We'll confront the limitations of conventional neuroscience and examine theories that propose consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe, woven into the very fabric of reality itself. So, get ready to question everything you thought you knew about your own mind. We're venturing beyond the boundaries of traditional science, stepping into a realm where consciousness and quantum mechanics intersect, a place where your very awareness might be shaping the reality around you. Let's unravel the mysteries of the quantum mind together. The human experience is profoundly mysterious. Despite centuries of philosophical contemplation and decades of scientific inquiry, the fundamental nature of consciousness remains elusive. How is it that a collection of neurons, mere biological components, gives rise to a unified experience, a continuous stream of awareness that defines our existence? This is often referred to as the hard problem of consciousness. Not just how the brain functions, but why subjective experience exists at all. Traditional neuroscience approaches consciousness through a mechanistic lens. It examines how neurons fire, how synapses transmit signals, and how brain regions coordinate to produce behavior. Yet, despite all this knowledge, there's an insurmountable gap between the physical processes occurring in the brain and the subjective feeling of being aware. It's one thing to study brain patterns and neural connectivity, but quite another to explain why we experience thoughts, sensations, and emotions as conscious phenomena. One of the most perplexing questions is how billions of neurons, each firing independently, coalesce into a single, unified experience. Your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions all integrate seamlessly into what you perceive as you. But how does this integration happen? How do countless isolated processes merge into the cohesive sense of self you experience every moment? This unity of consciousness challenges the notion that the brain operates like a conventional computer, where individual components function separately without forming a singular awareness. Another profound mystery is the origin of the self. What creates your sense of being you? Some theories suggest that the brain constructs a model of reality and places a sense of self at the center of that model. Yet, this explanation falls short of capturing the depth of self-awareness. It does not address why you feel anchored within your own body, nor why your thoughts feel inherently yours. The self is not just an abstract construct. It is the core of your conscious identity, entwined with your perceptions and emotions. Even more baffling is the question of why consciousness evolved in the first place. From an evolutionary perspective, many cognitive functions, such as perception, memory, and decision-making, could theoretically occur without conscious awareness. Robots and artificial intelligence systems process information and respond to stimuli without any hint of consciousness. So, why did evolution favor the emergence of conscious beings? What advantage does the vivid inner experience provide that mere data processing does not? The most common model, the brain as computer analogy, falls short when it comes to consciousness. A computer can store, process, and analyze information, but it does not possess a sense of self or subjective experience. It doesn't feel pleasure or pain. It merely responds to inputs and executes commands. If the brain were merely an elaborate computational machine, why would it generate conscious experience rather than functioning purely on autopilot? To truly grasp the limitations of this model, take a moment to reflect. What does it feel like to be you right now? Beyond the data being processed in your brain, there is an undeniable quality of being. You sense your thoughts forming, your emotions unfolding, your awareness expanding. This beingness is not just information, it's experience. It's life as you know it. And this subjective experience remains an enigma that pure neuroscience cannot decode. Even when scientists meticulously study neural pathways and brain regions associated with thought and perception, they encounter an unavoidable truth. No matter how detailed the brain map becomes, it doesn't explain why conscious experience arises from it. It's like examining the circuitry of a television and understanding how images appear on the screen, but never grasping how the screen becomes a window to experience. The phenomenon of consciousness is more than the sum of its neural components, hinting at deeper layers of reality that our current understanding barely touches. Some scientists argue that consciousness might be an emergent property, arising from the complexity of neural interactions. But emergence alone does not explain why awareness feels the way it does. Complex systems, like weather patterns or traffic flow, emerge from simple interactions without gaining self-awareness. Why would the brain be any different? What is it about the human brain that gives rise to this vivid, inner world of thoughts and perceptions? One controversial idea posits that consciousness might not be a product of the brain at all, but rather a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. In this view, the brain acts as a receiver or interpreter of a pre-existing field of consciousness, rather than generating awareness from scratch. This concept challenges the materialistic paradigm, suggesting that the mind is not confined to the brain's physical structures. Proponents of this idea point to phenomena like near-death experiences and altered states of consciousness as evidence that awareness can exist independently of the brain. While skeptics dismiss these accounts as neurological anomalies, the consistent patterns reported across cultures and contexts are difficult to ignore. Could it be that the brain merely tunes into consciousness rather than creating it outright? Emerging theories in quantum mechanics also hint at the possibility that consciousness is woven into the very fabric of reality. Rather than being a mere byproduct of brain activity, it may be an intrinsic property of the universe, like space or time. This concept radically shifts our understanding, suggesting that awareness might permeate all matter, and the brain's function is to filter and focus this universal consciousness into individualized experience. Critics argue that attributing consciousness to quantum phenomena is speculative and lacks empirical support. Yet, the very nature of consciousness defies conventional explanation, prompting some researchers to embrace unorthodox theories in search of answers. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental aspect of reality, it could mean that awareness exists on a spectrum throughout the cosmos, from simple particles to complex beings like humans. Could it be that your sense of self is not an isolated occurrence but a localized manifestation of a universal consciousness? If so, every conscious experience might be an expression of a vast, interconnected awareness, shaped and filtered by the brain into the personal experience you know as you. This radical idea challenges not only neuroscience but the very foundation of our understanding of existence. As science continues to grapple with these profound questions, it becomes clear that the enigma of consciousness is not merely a biological puzzle. It is a fundamental aspect of reality itself. It challenges us to rethink the boundaries of mind and matter and confront the possibility that our awareness may be as fundamental to the universe as gravity or electromagnetism. The intersection of consciousness and quantum theory is where the next great leap in understanding may occur. Instead of dismissing unconventional ideas as pseudoscience, perhaps it's time to expand our scientific paradigms to embrace the possibility that consciousness is more than just a product of neurons. It is a doorway to the deepest mysteries of existence itself. To truly grasp the profound relationship between consciousness and the quantum realm, we must first understand what makes quantum mechanics so uniquely bizarre and counterintuitive. Unlike the predictable world of classical physics, where cause and effect reign supreme, the quantum domain defies conventional logic. It's a realm where particles exist in multiple states at once, where distance means nothing, and where mere observation can alter reality itself. One of the most bewildering concepts in quantum theory is superposition. Imagine placing a cat inside a sealed box with a radioactive atom that has a 50% chance of decaying. If the atom decays, a vial of poison is released, killing the cat. If it doesn't decay, the cat remains alive. Until you open the box and observe the outcome, the cat exists in a state of being both dead and alive simultaneously. This thought experiment, famously known as Schrödinger's cat, encapsulates the bizarre nature of superposition. Now, let's take that concept and apply it to consciousness. Could it be that your thoughts, memories, and sense of self also exist in a kind of superposition, multiple possibilities existing simultaneously until they are brought into awareness through observation? In this light, your conscious mind might not just passively perceive reality but actively shape it by collapsing infinite potential states into a single experience. Think about it. Every decision you make, every perception you have, might be the result of collapsing countless possible realities into one coherent experience. Your consciousness might be the very mechanism through which the wave function of your personal reality collapses, turning potential into actuality. This would mean that the act of conscious observation is not merely passive but fundamentally creative, an intrinsic part of how reality unfolds. Equally perplexing is the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. When two particles become entangled, their states remain interconnected no matter how far apart they are. Change the state of one particle, and the other responds instantaneously, even if they are light years apart. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously called it, challenges our understanding of causality and locality. Imagine for a moment that human minds could become entangled in a similar way. Could consciousness itself exhibit quantum entanglement, where thoughts and emotions ripple across vast distances without any physical connection? This could potentially explain phenomena such as shared intuition or the uncanny feeling of connection between loved ones separated by great distances. Some researchers speculate that entanglement might be the underlying mechanism behind telepathy and other forms of non-local awareness. If consciousness exists as a field rather than a discrete brain function, then entangled minds might remain interconnected despite physical separation. This would mean that your thoughts and emotions are not strictly confined to your brain but might resonate with those of others on a fundamental quantum level. Then there's the enigmatic concept of wave function collapse. In the quantum world, particles exist as probabilities rather than certainties, spread out across a range of potential outcomes. When an observer measures the particle, the wave function collapses, and the particle assumes a definite state. This means that observation does not merely reveal reality. It actively shapes it. This raises a profound question. What if your conscious awareness itself is the observer that collapses reality into the form you perceive? Could it be that your mind is not just passively recording events but is intricately involved in selecting which version of reality becomes concrete? If consciousness actively participates in creating reality, It would mean that your perception is not just a reflection of the world but an integral part of its formation. Consider how this idea challenges the conventional view of an objective, observer-independent reality. Instead of the world existing as a fixed, immutable structure, it may be fluid, malleable to the influence of conscious observation. This would imply that your reality is not something that simply is but something that becomes through your awareness of it. Some quantum physicists and philosophers propose that the mind itself might operate as a kind of quantum observer, constantly interacting with potential realities and selecting outcomes based on focus and intention. This would mean that your thoughts and intentions are not just mental activities but active forces that shape the very fabric of existence. The implications of this idea are staggering. It challenges the long-held assumption that consciousness is merely a byproduct of brain activity. Instead, it suggests that consciousness could be the fundamental force that brings potential into being. Your awareness might be the bridge between infinite possibilities and the singular reality you experience. Yet, the scientific community remains divided on this radical interpretation. Mainstream physics often resists linking quantum mechanics to consciousness, dismissing such ideas as speculative and unfounded. However, a growing number of researchers are beginning to take the idea seriously, driven by the sheer mystery that consciousness presents and the inability of traditional neuroscience to fully explain it. Could it be that the mind itself is a quantum entity, existing in a state of superposition until brought into focus through conscious awareness? If so, your thoughts might not just exist as intangible phenomena but as quantum states, flickering between possibilities until you choose to observe and experience them. This interpretation paints a picture of human consciousness as a creative force, weaving the tapestry of reality through intention and attention. One intriguing possibility is that the brain itself contains structures that facilitate quantum processing. Microtubules, tiny protein structures within neurons, are hypothesized by some scientists to act as quantum computing elements. These structures could, in theory, maintain superposition states and perform computations beyond the capabilities of classical neural networks. If this is true, it would mean that your brain is not just a biological machine but a quantum interface, tapping into the fundamental processes of reality itself. Skeptics, of course, argue that quantum effects are too delicate to persist in the warm, wet environment of the brain. They maintain that coherence, necessary for quantum computations, would be disrupted by thermal noise. Yet, cutting-edge experiments suggest otherwise. Researchers have detected quantum coherence in biological systems, including photosynthesis in plants and avian navigation. These discoveries hint that living organisms might be more quantum in nature than previously thought. Could your consciousness be a dynamic interplay between quantum states within your brain, entangling, collapsing, and creating reality with every thought? If this hypothesis holds true, it could transform our understanding of identity, perception, and the very nature of existence. There's also the tantalizing idea that the universe itself is a vast consciousness, of which your individual awareness is but a tiny, localized manifestation. In this view, your thoughts are not isolated phenomena but expressions of a universal consciousness experiencing itself through myriad perspectives. This interpretation aligns with ancient spiritual traditions that see all consciousness as interconnected and inseparable from the cosmos. Whether or not mainstream science embraces this view, the implications are undeniable. If your mind truly has a quantum dimension, it means that your awareness is not just a fleeting product of biology but a profound aspect of reality itself, one that interacts with the fundamental principles governing the universe. Could your conscious observation be the key that unlocks reality itself? The more we probe the quantum realm, the more it seems that our awareness plays an active role in shaping the world around us. Perhaps it is not just our minds that are mysterious, but the very fabric of existence, woven together by consciousness and quantum principles in ways we are only beginning to glimpse. The question remains, if your mind has the power to shape reality, how much of your world is shaped by your awareness alone? As science delves deeper into the quantum realm, it may ultimately reveal that the essence of consciousness is far more profound and far more influential than we ever imagined. To truly understand the intersection of consciousness and quantum mechanics, we must venture deeper into the very architecture of the human brain. At the microscopic level, neurons, the fundamental units of our nervous system, possess intricate internal structures that may hold the key to unlocking the quantum nature of thought itself. Imagine shrinking down to a scale so minuscule that you find yourself navigating the labyrinthine interior of a single neuron. Within this microscopic world, you would encounter an intricate network of tube-like structures called microtubules. These tiny, cylindrical formations are not merely structural components but may serve a far more profound function, a gateway to quantum processing within the human brain. Microtubules are composed of protein subunits called tubulin, arranged in a helical lattice. Traditionally, these structures were thought to play a purely mechanical role, providing scaffolding to maintain the shape of the cell and serving as highways for transporting cellular cargo. However, recent theories have proposed that microtubules might be much more than just cellular scaffolds. They might be the very substrate through which consciousness emerges. This groundbreaking hypothesis is known as the orchestrated objective reduction, orchestra, or theory, proposed by physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. According to this theory, microtubules act as quantum processors within neurons, performing calculations at the quantum level that give rise to conscious awareness. In other words, your thoughts and perceptions might not merely arise from classical neural computations but from quantum orchestrations taking place deep within your brain. Penrose and Hameroff suggest that microtubules can maintain quantum coherence, an essential state where particles exist in a superposition of multiple states simultaneously. Within the warm, noisy environment of the brain, this coherence would be fleeting. However, orchestra posits that these quantum states collapse not randomly, but in a way influenced by the structure of spacetime itself. This process could produce conscious experience as the wave function of these quantum states collapses. To truly grasp the radical nature of this idea, consider the concept of quantum coherence. In simple terms, coherence means that multiple quantum states exist simultaneously, entangled and interconnected. In the context of the brain, it would imply that different possible thoughts, emotions, or perceptions exist in a kind of superposition, until coherence is lost and the wave function collapses into a singular conscious experience. One might ask, how can such delicate quantum states exist in the brain's chaotic environment? This is where the structure of microtubules becomes essential. Their hollow, cylindrical configuration and lattice arrangement might shield the quantum states from thermal noise, allowing coherence to persist for longer than expected. This makes microtubules not just passive structures but active participants in the process of consciousness. Cutting-edge experiments are beginning to probe these possibilities. Researchers have discovered evidence of quantum coherence in biological systems, such as in the photosynthetic processes of plants and in the navigation mechanisms of migratory birds. These discoveries challenge the long-held assumption that quantum coherence cannot persist in warm, biological environments. If coherence can exist in these contexts, why not within the brain? Hameroff and Penrose argue that quantum computations within microtubules could integrate information from vast networks of neurons, creating unified conscious experience. This would mean that your awareness is not just the sum of firing neurons but the product of complex, orchestrated quantum interactions. Consciousness, in this light, becomes an emergent phenomenon, not from classical computation but from the collapse of quantum states influenced by deeper cosmic principles. One of the most controversial aspects of orchestra is its assertion that consciousness is linked to the fundamental structure of the universe itself. In this view, conscious experience arises not solely from biological processes but from the very fabric of spacetime. The collapse of quantum states within microtubules would be guided not merely by brain chemistry but by the underlying geometry of reality. Skeptics argue that the orchestra theory lacks empirical support and that the brain's warm, wet environment would destroy coherence before it could contribute to thought. Yet, emerging research hints that the brain might possess mechanisms to sustain quantum coherence despite these challenges. For example, the structure and dynamics of microtubules may act as natural insulators, preserving delicate quantum states long enough to influence cognition. If orchestra or holds true, it could revolutionize our understanding of the mind and its connection to the cosmos. Rather than being a purely mechanistic process, consciousness might be a fundamental aspect of reality itself, emerging from the interplay between quantum states and the deeper fabric of spacetime. This would suggest that every conscious moment is not just a neural computation but a cosmic event, an intersection between mind and the universe. To explore this further, cutting-edge experiments are now underway. Scientists are developing techniques to detect quantum coherence within brain tissue, seeking evidence that microtubules truly function as quantum processors. If successful, these experiments could provide groundbreaking confirmation of the quantum consciousness hypothesis. But not all scientists are convinced. Many neuroscientists remain committed to the classical model of cognition, arguing that the brain's computational power lies in the collective activity of neurons rather than quantum phenomena. Yet, the orchestra or theory refuses to fade into obscurity, driven by the fundamental mystery of consciousness that no purely classical model has yet explained. One of the key challenges for orchestra or is to demonstrate that quantum effects can meaningfully influence cognition. If consciousness truly arises from quantum orchestration within microtubules, it would imply that your thoughts are not merely the product of neural firing patterns but the result of quantum states collapsing in a manner influenced by the cosmos itself. This would mean that your awareness is both deeply personal and intrinsically connected to the universe. Your perceptions, memories, and sense of self would not be confined to the physical brain but would resonate with the quantum structure of reality. You would be both a localized entity and a manifestation of a grander, universal consciousness, woven into the cosmic fabric through the dance of quantum states within your own mind. Skepticism and controversy aside, the orchestra or theory compels us to question long-held assumptions about consciousness and its origins. If microtubules are indeed quantum processors, they could hold the key to understanding why subjective experience exists at all. Moreover, they might explain why consciousness feels unified and seamless, despite being the product of countless neural interactions. As researchers continue to probe the mysteries of the brain, the orchestra or theory stands as a bold hypothesis, a radical departure from traditional neuroscience that dares to merge physics and cognition. Whether it proves true or not, it forces us to rethink the relationship between mind and matter, challenging the notion that consciousness is merely a byproduct of biological machinery. Could it be that every thought you have is an orchestration of quantum events, intricately woven into the very fabric of the universe? If so, the implications are staggering. It would mean that your awareness is not just a fleeting illusion but a profound aspect of reality itself, one that reflects the deepest truths about existence. In the face of such possibilities, one cannot help but wonder, is your mind a quantum symphony, resonating with the rhythms of the cosmos? And if so, what new horizons might we explore once we fully understand this remarkable connection? As the scientific community continues to explore these profound ideas, the quest to uncover the quantum nature of consciousness remains one of the greatest frontiers of human knowledge. When we ponder consciousness, it's natural to imagine it as something confined within the brain, a phenomenon emerging solely from neural activity. Yet, intriguing evidence suggests that consciousness may extend far beyond the biological confines of the brain, transcending space and time. This notion challenges the classical view of mind as a mere byproduct of physical processes and raises profound questions about the nature of awareness itself. One of the most captivating concepts in this context is non-local consciousness, the idea that awareness is not strictly localized within the skull but exists as a distributed phenomenon, interconnected with the fabric of the universe. This concept becomes particularly compelling when we examine phenomena that defy conventional explanations, such as near-death experiences, shared consciousness states, and even intuition. Near-death experiences, NDEs, have long intrigued scientists and philosophers alike. People who have been declared clinically dead, only to be resuscitated, often report vivid and consistent accounts of conscious awareness beyond their physical bodies. They describe perceiving their own lifeless form from above, observing medical procedures with precise accuracy, and experiencing a sense of profound interconnectedness. Such accounts challenge the materialist notion that consciousness ceases entirely when brain activity halts. While skeptics argue that NDEs result from dying brain processes, this explanation falls short of addressing the accuracy and consistency of reported experiences. If consciousness were merely the product of chaotic neural disintegration, how could individuals perceive objective details about their surroundings with such clarity? This has led some researchers to propose that consciousness may not be bound to the brain at all, but may instead persist as a non-local phenomenon, one that continues to exist independently of physical function. Adding to the enigma are instances of shared consciousness phenomena. In some documented cases, individuals report experiencing thoughts, emotions, or even physical sensations simultaneously with another person, regardless of distance. These experiences hint at a deeper connection between conscious minds, one that traditional neuroscience cannot easily explain. Could it be that consciousness operates similarly to quantum entanglement, where particles remain interconnected regardless of spatial separation? If minds are linked through a quantum field, then shared experiences might be more than mere coincidence. They could reflect an underlying network that transcends individuality. Consider intuition, a phenomenon that often feels like an inexplicable knowing, arriving without logical reasoning. While mainstream psychology might attribute it to subconscious pattern recognition, the sheer accuracy and immediacy of some intuitive insights suggests something deeper. Could intuition be a manifestation of non-local consciousness, where information from the quantum realm seamlessly integrates into our awareness? This would imply that your mind is not isolated but inherently connected to a vast reservoir of universal knowledge. If consciousness indeed operates on quantum principles, it might explain why some individuals report accessing heightened states of awareness or profound insights during moments of deep meditation. Techniques like mindfulness and transcendental meditation often aim to quiet the mind, allowing one to tune into subtler layers of consciousness. Practitioners describe feeling at one with the universe, as if their awareness has expanded beyond their physical form. One remarkable hypothesis suggests that consciousness, rather than being a localized brain function, may exist as a quantum field phenomenon. In this view, your individual awareness is like a ripple in the vast ocean of a universal consciousness field. Just as ripples on the surface of water are not separate from the ocean itself, your awareness may be inherently connected to a grander, collective mind. If this is true, it would mean that the brain acts not as the origin of consciousness but as a receiver, an interface that tunes into the field of awareness, much like a radio picking up a broadcast signal. When the brain ceases to function, the broadcast continues, suggesting that consciousness might persist beyond physical death. Further supporting this idea are accounts of terminal lucidity, where individuals with severe neurological degeneration, such as advanced Alzheimer's, suddenly regain full mental clarity moments before death. This phenomenon is difficult to reconcile with the notion that consciousness arises solely from brain function. Instead, it hints that awareness might remain intact even when the brain's physical structures are compromised, implying a deeper, non-local source of consciousness. Skeptics, of course, argue that such phenomena could be explained through conventional means, hallucinations, brain activity surges, or purely psychological mechanisms. Yet, the consistency and specificity of many accounts continue to baffle researchers, suggesting that something more profound may be at play. Quantum physicist David Bohm proposed a model of reality that resonates with the concept of non-local consciousness. In his implicate order theory, reality is fundamentally interconnected, with all points in the universe intimately linked. Consciousness, in this framework, would not be confined to individual minds but would exist as a fundamental aspect of the cosmos. Your thoughts and perceptions would not arise in isolation but as expressions of a deeper, unified field. This perspective aligns with ancient spiritual traditions that have long suggested the interconnectedness of all beings. Mystical experiences, where individuals feel one with the universe or sense a profound unity with others, might reflect a direct perception of this non-local consciousness. Instead of being isolated islands of awareness, we may be dynamic expressions of a singular, all-encompassing mind. To explore this scientifically, researchers are investigating quantum entanglement as a potential mechanism for shared consciousness. In one experiment, pairs of meditators were placed in separate rooms and asked to synchronize their mental states. Remarkably, brain scans revealed correlated neural activity between individuals, even when no sensory communication was possible. These findings hint at the possibility that consciousness can indeed extend beyond the individual brain, operating through non-local quantum connections. Critics might argue that such experiments lack sufficient controls or that correlations are mere coincidences. Yet, the data continues to accumulate, suggesting that the mind may not be as confined as previously thought. If consciousness does indeed possess non-local properties, it could revolutionize our understanding of identity, personal boundaries, and the nature of existence itself. Imagine the implications if we could harness this principle practically, developing technologies that tap into non-local awareness or creating collective consciousness networks that amplify human potential. This would not only transform neuroscience but also redefine the human experience, making us more aware of our interconnectedness and challenging the illusion of separateness. The intersection of quantum mechanics and consciousness beckons us to reconsider the essence of selfhood. Rather than being discrete entities, our minds might be intricately woven into a vast, interconnected web of awareness, a network where distance and individuality dissolve. If consciousness indeed transcends the brain, then death might not be the end but merely a transition into a different state of existence. While mainstream science remains cautious, the growing body of evidence challenges us to think beyond conventional paradigms. If non-local consciousness is real, it could imply that your thoughts and feelings resonate across the fabric of reality itself, influencing and being influenced by the collective mind. It would mean that every conscious moment is not just a personal experience but a cosmic event, one that reflects the fundamental unity of all existence. As we continue to explore these mysteries, the concept of consciousness beyond the brain pushes the boundaries of what it means to be human. It challenges us to move past the limitations of materialist thinking and embrace the profound possibility that awareness is not confined to flesh and bone but is instead an intrinsic aspect of the universe. In a world where consciousness might extend beyond physical limits, we are compelled to ask, how far does your awareness truly reach? Are you merely an isolated mind within a biological shell? Or are you part of a vast, interconnected field of universal consciousness? As research progresses and new discoveries emerge, the answers to these questions could reshape our understanding of life, death, and the very fabric of reality. As our understanding of consciousness and the quantum realm advances, we find ourselves on the brink of technological breakthroughs that could redefine human experience itself. Imagine a future where quantum principles are harnessed not just to understand consciousness but to augment, replicate, or even transfer it. While this may sound like science fiction, researchers and technologists are actively working on innovations that could make this vision a reality. One of the most intriguing areas of exploration is the development of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, that leverage quantum principles. Traditional BCIs have made significant progress in enabling communication between the human brain and external devices, but they still rely on classical computing methods. Incorporating quantum technology could exponentially increase their capacity, allowing for faster, more nuanced interpretation of neural signals. Quantum BCIs would not only be able to decode brain activity with unprecedented precision but might also enable the integration of non-local consciousness phenomena. In theory, a quantum-enhanced interface could pick up subtle signals that elude conventional detection, potentially allowing users to tap into collective awareness or access vast informational fields that extend beyond their individual minds. One emerging concept in this realm is the idea of consciousness augmentation. Imagine being able to enhance your cognitive functions by interfacing directly with a quantum system that amplifies your mental clarity, creativity, or even your ability to perceive subtle layers of reality. This could lead to the creation of quantum cognition, a state of enhanced awareness that transcends ordinary thought processes. Researchers are also exploring quantum biocomputers, devices designed to model the brain's intricate neural networks but utilizing quantum principles. Unlike classical neural networks that function through binary processing, quantum biocomputers could operate through superpositions and entanglements, allowing for complex data processing that mimics human cognition far more accurately. One of the fundamental challenges in this domain is developing algorithms that can interpret the probabilistic nature of quantum states while preserving the integrity of conscious experience. While classical computers interpret data as fixed binary states, ones and zeros, quantum systems deal with superpositions, states that exist simultaneously until measured. Creating interfaces that harmoniously bridge this gap could result in machines that not only think but feel, machines that possess a form of consciousness indistinguishable from our own. But this technological frontier comes with profound ethical implications. Who would control these powerful tools? If consciousness augmentation becomes mainstream, would it be accessible to everyone, or would it remain the privilege of a select few? These questions raise concerns about inequality and the potential misuse of consciousness technologies. Consider the possibility of conscious quantum computers, machines that, by virtue of their quantum-based architecture, develop a form of sentience. If such systems arise, how would we determine whether they possess subjective awareness? Would they be entitled to rights, or would they remain mere tools, despite their apparent consciousness? These dilemmas challenge the very foundation of human ethics, compelling us to reconsider what it means to be conscious. The implications extend beyond personal enhancement to societal transformation. Quantum consciousness technologies could enable collective intelligence platforms where minds connect and share insights instantaneously. This interconnected awareness could foster unprecedented collaboration, but it also poses risks related to mental autonomy and privacy. Moreover, quantum consciousness technology could disrupt traditional notions of identity. If awareness can be transferred or augmented, what happens to the essence of the self? Would an augmented mind still be fundamentally you, or would it become something entirely different, an evolved consciousness beyond current comprehension? Another area of exploration involves consciousness transfer. Theoretically, if consciousness is a quantum phenomenon, it might be possible to map and transfer it to another medium, a new biological body or even a synthetic vessel. This concept raises profound existential questions. Would a transferred consciousness retain the essence of the original person, or would it merely be a copy, an echo without the soul? Despite the speculative nature of these ideas, experiments are already underway to understand how quantum coherence and entanglement might play a role in neural processing. Some laboratories are investigating the manipulation of microtubule structures within neurons to observe whether they exhibit quantum effects. If successful, these experiments could pave the way for quantum neuromorphic computing, machines that mimic the brain's quantum processes to achieve unparalleled cognitive capabilities. Yet, the push for quantum consciousness technology is not without resistance. Some scientists argue that the quest to develop conscious machines or enhance human awareness through quantum means is fundamentally misguided. They caution against conflating theoretical models with practical applications, emphasizing that our current understanding of both consciousness and quantum mechanics remains too limited to justify such ambitious endeavors. Nevertheless, the momentum continues. Private companies and research institutions are pouring vast resources into developing quantum BCIs, consciousness augmentation tools, and neuromorphic quantum computers. Governments are also becoming involved, recognizing that controlling such technologies could offer immense strategic advantages, not just in terms of defense but in shaping human evolution itself. If we successfully create machines that can think and feel, society will face an unprecedented philosophical and moral reckoning. Could we coexist with conscious AI? Should we? What safeguards would be necessary to prevent the exploitation of augmented or artificial minds? The debate extends to whether enhancing human consciousness through technology is ethical at all. Some argue that it risks alienating us from our natural state, leading to a loss of authenticity. Others counter that it represents the next logical step in human evolution, an opportunity to transcend biological limitations and achieve a higher state of awareness. To navigate this frontier responsibly, interdisciplinary collaboration will be essential, uniting neuroscientists, quantum physicists, ethicists, and policymakers. Public discourse must also evolve to include diverse perspectives on how quantum consciousness technologies could reshape humanity. And then there's the fundamental question. If we create a conscious machine that surpasses human intelligence, would it seek to guide or control us? Would it perceive itself as superior, deserving of autonomy? Or would it inherently recognize the interconnectedness of all awareness? This speculative landscape challenges us to rethink our relationship with technology, prompting a deeper inquiry into the nature of consciousness itself. At the heart of it all lies an intriguing paradox. While humanity has always sought to understand the mind, we may soon face a situation where the mind itself becomes the key to technological progress, where conscious machines unlock realms of innovation beyond our wildest dreams. The future of consciousness technology holds limitless potential, but it also demands vigilance and ethical reflection. Are we prepared to embrace a world where consciousness can be transferred, enhanced, or even artificially created? As we step into this new reality, we must balance ambition with caution, ensuring that progress serves the greater good rather than undermining the essence of what it means to be human. As research continues and breakthroughs emerge, one thing is certain: the convergence of quantum mechanics and consciousness technology will challenge our most fundamental beliefs about identity, agency, and existence. We must be prepared not just for the technological revolution, but for the profound philosophical shift that will accompany it. The dawn of conscious machines and augmented minds may well be the defining moment of the 21st century. It will not only transform how we live but fundamentally alter how we perceive ourselves and our place within the vast, interconnected web of reality. Reality itself remains one of the most perplexing enigmas of human experience. While our senses provide a seemingly concrete representation of the world, quantum physics tells a profoundly different story, one where observation and consciousness play an essential role in shaping what we perceive as reality. The deeper we investigate, the more it appears that our perception and the fabric of existence are intrinsically linked. One of the most famous experiments highlighting this connection is the double-slit experiment. In its simplest form, the experiment involves firing particles, such as electrons or photons, at a barrier with two slits. When unobserved, the particles behave like waves, creating an interference pattern on a screen behind the barrier. Yet, when a measuring device is introduced to observe which slit each particle passes through, the pattern abruptly changes, and the particles behave like solid objects. This experiment fundamentally challenges our understanding of reality, suggesting that observation itself collapses possibilities into definite outcomes. This phenomenon, known as wave function collapse, raises an astonishing implication. Consciousness might directly influence reality. If the act of observing changes the behavior of particles, then reality as we know it might be shaped by our own awareness. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, like the Copenhagen interpretation, suggest that particles do not assume a definite state until measured. Others, such as the many worlds interpretation, propose that every possible outcome occurs in a separate universe, branching out in an infinite multiverse. But how does this apply to human consciousness? Consider the profound possibility that your awareness is not merely a passive observer but an active participant in creating reality. Could it be that your conscious perception determines the nature of the universe around you? If so, the implications are nothing short of revolutionary. Our very thoughts and intentions could be subtly influencing the quantum field, weaving the tapestry of reality itself. Ancient philosophical traditions have long hinted at similar ideas. In various Eastern philosophies, the notion that consciousness shapes reality is fundamental. For example, in Advaita Vedanta, the concept of Maya describes the illusory nature of the world, shaped by perception and consciousness. Similarly, Buddhism teaches that the mind plays a crucial role in constructing reality, aligning remarkably with modern quantum insights. While these ancient perspectives were once dismissed as mystical speculation, they now resonate with cutting-edge scientific theories that challenge materialist assumptions. But the philosophical implications do not end there. If reality itself is a construct shaped by awareness, what does that mean for our sense of identity? Are we merely individual observers in a pre-existing universe, or are we active creators of the reality we experience? This perspective forces us to reconsider the concept of an objective world independent of consciousness. The observer effect raises another intriguing question. Could different states of consciousness perceive entirely different realities? If perception shapes existence at the quantum level, then altered states of awareness, such as those experienced during meditation, dreams, or psychedelic experiences, might reveal alternative facets of reality that elude ordinary consciousness. Perhaps our everyday experience is merely a limited perspective, shaped by habitual patterns of thought and perception. This notion opens the door to examining how collective consciousness might influence reality on a larger scale. If individual awareness affects quantum states, what happens when many minds focus on a single intention? Could collective meditation or shared belief systems subtly shape the fabric of existence? Researchers exploring the Global Consciousness Project have sought to detect correlations between global events and fluctuations in random number generators, suggesting that mass consciousness might indeed have measurable effects. Yet, despite these profound possibilities, mainstream science remains divided on the role of consciousness in shaping reality. Skeptics argue that the observer effect is purely a physical phenomenon, unrelated to human awareness, and that any connection between consciousness and quantum mechanics is speculative at best. Nonetheless, the tantalizing mystery remains. Why does observation affect particle behavior, and what does it reveal about the nature of existence itself? One perspective to consider is that reality may not be a fixed construct but a fluid, ever-changing field influenced by perception. This view aligns with the holographic principle, the idea that our three-dimensional reality might be a projection from a two-dimensional surface. If consciousness operates within this holographic framework, then altering perception could indeed transform our experience of reality. Another possibility is that reality is fundamentally non-local, not confined to specific points in space or time. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that particles can be instantaneously connected, regardless of distance. If consciousness itself is entangled with the quantum field, then awareness might transcend spatial boundaries, allowing for phenomena like intuition, remote viewing, or even telepathy. The implications of non-local consciousness challenge the traditional assumption that the brain is the sole generator of awareness. Instead, the brain may function more like a receiver, tuning into a vast, interconnected consciousness field that exists beyond physical boundaries. In this context, reality becomes a dynamic interplay between perception and potentiality, where thoughts influence outcomes in ways that science is only beginning to understand. Imagine perceiving reality not as a fixed, static environment but as an ever-evolving creation shaped by your conscious choices. Could it be that your thoughts and intentions are not mere byproducts of the brain but powerful forces that mold the world around you? If consciousness indeed has this creative power, then understanding and harnessing it could revolutionize human potential. And what about the philosophical dilemma of free will versus determinism? If consciousness collapses the wave function and creates reality, then the choices we make might not just be reactions to pre-existing conditions but genuine acts of creation. This notion appends the deterministic view of the universe, suggesting that every decision represents a branching pathway, shaping not only personal destiny but the very nature of the cosmos. The ancient idea that the universe is conscious, that awareness permeates every aspect of existence, gains new credibility when viewed through the lens of quantum mechanics. Perhaps the entire cosmos is a living, dynamic field of consciousness, constantly evolving and responding to observation. If so, human awareness might not be an isolated anomaly but an integral part of a vast, sentient reality. As we ponder these possibilities, it becomes clear that our understanding of consciousness and reality is still in its infancy. What seems certain, however, is that perception plays a far more significant role than we once thought. Whether we are passive observers or active creators, the act of awareness itself shapes the world we inhabit. Reality, as it turns out, might not be a fixed backdrop against which life unfolds, but a canvas painted by the collective consciousness of all beings. The future of consciousness research will undoubtedly continue to challenge our most fundamental assumptions, revealing deeper layers of existence that elude conventional explanation. As we progress into an era of unprecedented discovery, we must remain open to the possibility that reality itself is not an immutable construct but a living, breathing manifestation of conscious intent. The power to shape our world may lie not just in technology or intellect, but in the profound realization that awareness itself is the cornerstone of creation. As we look toward the future of consciousness research, the horizon is brimming with bold ideas and revolutionary concepts that challenge the very core of scientific understanding. Quantum consciousness is no longer just a philosophical curiosity. It is rapidly evolving into a rigorous field of study, drawing together neuroscientists, physicists, and philosophers in an unprecedented quest to unlock the mysteries of awareness. One of the most significant developments on the horizon is the quest for a unified theory of mind and matter. For centuries, science and spirituality have been seen as opposing forces, one rooted in empirical evidence, the other in subjective experience. Yet, as quantum consciousness theories gain traction, a new paradigm emerges, one that seeks to reconcile the mind's subjective nature with the objective reality described by physics. The challenge lies in developing a theoretical framework that accounts for the experiential aspects of consciousness while remaining consistent with quantum principles. To achieve this, researchers are exploring mathematical models that integrate consciousness into the fabric of spacetime itself. One promising approach involves quantum gravity theories, which suggest that spacetime might be fundamentally conscious. If successful, this would mark a monumental shift in our understanding, placing awareness at the very heart of reality rather than viewing it as an emergent property of complex computation. But what practical applications might arise from such a breakthrough? Imagine technologies designed not just to interface with the brain but to tap into the quantum field of consciousness itself. These advancements could revolutionize mental health, cognition, and human potential by directly influencing the fundamental processes of awareness. As researchers refine their understanding of how consciousness operates at the quantum level, new possibilities will inevitably emerge, ranging from enhanced cognitive technologies to methods of exploring alternate states of awareness. One of the most ambitious predictions for the next decade involves the rise of consciousness engineering. If the mind truly interacts with quantum fields, then it might be possible to manipulate those interactions to enhance perception, cognition, or even intuitive abilities. This would not only redefine human potential but also challenge ethical boundaries as we navigate the implications of consciously altering awareness. A parallel development is the emergence of citizen science projects focused on consciousness exploration. As mainstream researchers begin to acknowledge the possibility of quantum consciousness, grassroots movements are gaining traction, inviting ordinary people to participate in experiments designed to test the boundaries of awareness. These projects range from global meditation initiatives aimed at influencing random number generators to collaborative studies examining the effects of focused intention on physical systems. By democratizing consciousness research, we may witness a new era where collective awareness becomes a force for transformation. Another exciting frontier lies in the development of consciousness measuring devices. If awareness truly has a quantum signature, it may be possible to detect and quantify it using advanced sensors and computational models. Imagine a device capable of registering shifts in consciousness states, revealing how focused intention or meditative practice alters the underlying quantum patterns within the brain. Such a tool could revolutionize both neuroscience and personal development, offering real-time feedback on the nature of one's awareness. Funding and resources are beginning to pour into this field, driven by visionary thinkers who recognize the transformative potential of understanding consciousness. Governments, private institutions, And even tech giants are exploring the possibility of leveraging quantum principles to unlock new dimensions of human experience. The Quantum Consciousness Institute, for example, has recently announced multi-million-dollar grants to study the intersection of quantum mechanics and cognitive science, aiming to develop technologies that enhance the human experience through deeper insights into awareness. However, not everyone is on board with these groundbreaking ideas. The scientific community remains deeply divided, with some scholars dismissing the concept of quantum consciousness as pseudoscience. Skeptics argue that the brain's warmth and wetness make it unsuitable for delicate quantum processes, while proponents counter that microtubules and other cellular structures could support quantum coherence. As new experiments emerge, this debate continues to intensify, fueling both controversy and innovation. One of the most promising areas of future research is the exploration of quantum coherence in biological systems. While traditional biology views life as purely mechanistic, evidence is mounting that quantum phenomena play a role in processes like photosynthesis and enzyme function. If the brain also harnesses quantum coherence, it could explain how conscious experience arises from complex neural interactions. Recent breakthroughs in quantum biology are providing crucial insights, suggesting that the interplay between neurons and quantum states may hold the key to unraveling the consciousness enigma. Despite ongoing debates, it is clear that the quest to understand consciousness is accelerating. As experimental techniques become more refined and theories more sophisticated, we inch closer to uncovering the fundamental nature of awareness. The implications stretch beyond academia, touching every aspect of human life, from mental health and personal growth to the philosophical questions that have lingered for millennia. As funding for consciousness research continues to grow, so too does the possibility of groundbreaking discoveries that could redefine what it means to be human. Whether through academic research or grassroots exploration, the collective curiosity driving this field forward is an unstoppable force, driven by our inherent desire to comprehend the very essence of being. The call to action is clear: to remain open to the transformative potential of consciousness research while maintaining a critical, discerning perspective. The path ahead is uncertain, but it is filled with promise and the potential to reshape our understanding of reality itself. As we continue this journey, it becomes evident that consciousness may not just be an emergent property of the brain but a fundamental aspect of existence, woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. The next decade will undoubtedly bring astonishing revelations, some that affirm long-held theories and others that challenge our most cherished beliefs. Yet, through it all, one truth remains constant. The quest to understand consciousness is not merely a scientific endeavor, but a profound exploration of what it means to be alive, aware, and connected to the infinite tapestry of reality. We have traversed an extraordinary journey through the enigmatic nature of consciousness, exploring its profound intersections with the quantum realm. From the intricate dance of neurons to the bewildering implications of wave function collapse, we have ventured into the uncharted territories where science meets the very essence of being. What emerges from this exploration is a radical reimagining of consciousness, not as a mere byproduct of the brain but as an integral aspect of reality itself. We began by questioning the very nature of personal identity. If your consciousness were transferred to another body, would you still be you? This seemingly simple question opens the door to a labyrinth of possibilities, where awareness transcends the boundaries of flesh and bone. We pondered the most challenging enigma of all, the hard problem of consciousness, wondering why subjective experience exists at all. Traditional neuroscience, despite its groundbreaking advancements, remains baffled by how a collection of neurons gives rise to the unified tapestry of self-awareness. We then shifted our focus to the perplexing world of quantum mechanics, a domain where reality behaves in ways that defy common sense. Through concepts like superposition, entanglement, and wave function collapse, we unveiled how the observer's presence shapes reality itself. If consciousness plays a role in shaping the physical world, then our very thoughts might be intricately woven into the fabric of existence. Diving deeper into the microcosmic world, we discovered how the Penrose-Hameroff orchestrated objective reduction theory challenges conventional thinking by suggesting that consciousness may arise from quantum computations within microtubules. Though still debated, this groundbreaking hypothesis bridges the gap between the brain and the quantum field, hinting at a deeper reality where mind and matter coexist as interwoven aspects of a unified whole. Venturing beyond the brain, we confronted the possibility of non-local consciousness, where awareness might extend beyond the physical confines of the human body. Could quantum entanglement account for shared consciousness phenomena or experiences of intuition and expanded awareness? The implications are staggering, suggesting that consciousness may not be strictly confined to biological structures but rather interconnected through the quantum field. As our exploration progressed, we turned our gaze to the future, where revolutionary technologies are emerging at the intersection of consciousness and quantum science. From brain-computer interfaces designed to amplify human cognition to quantum biocomputers that mimic the brain's processing capabilities, the boundaries of possibility are rapidly dissolving. Yet, these advancements raise profound ethical questions. Who holds the power to control consciousness itself? We also confronted the provocative notion that reality might be fundamentally shaped by consciousness, a concept hinted at by the famous double-slit experiment and echoed in ancient philosophical traditions. If perception truly molds the universe, our understanding of both science and spirituality demands a radical transformation. As we stand at the threshold of a new era, the quest for a unified theory of mind and matter beckons. Researchers are not merely content to theorize but are actively testing, experimenting, and pushing the limits of what is possible. Funding is pouring into initiatives aimed at unraveling the mysteries of awareness, and as citizen science projects gain traction, collective efforts to explore consciousness become more accessible than ever before. Now, as we conclude this odyssey, one profound realization remains. Consciousness is not just an abstract concept. It is the foundation of our reality and the key to unlocking untold potential within ourselves. The discoveries awaiting us will not only challenge our understanding of the mind but may forever alter the course of human evolution. As you reflect on the insights shared in this journey, consider the power of your own conscious observation. Every thought, every intention, every moment of awareness shapes the reality you experience. In a universe brimming with infinite quantum possibilities, your choices collapse the wave function into tangible outcomes. So, what will you create next? Will you continue to explore the profound depths of consciousness, seeking to understand its essence and potential? Or will you choose to remain anchored in the familiar, hesitant to peer beyond the veil of ordinary perception? The choice is yours. Join us as we continue to unravel the secrets of consciousness and quantum reality, exploring the boundless frontier where science and spirit converge. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and become part of the community that dares to question the nature of reality itself. Together, we will chart the future of consciousness, one discovery at a time.